In the heart of a sprawling city, where shadows whispered secrets and friendships were broken in the name of power, Wine, the resilient wife of the formidable Mafia leader Jungkook, faced an unexpected and heartbreaking turn of events. The luxurious mansion, once a protective place for the dangerous couple, now bore witness to the fragility of life. Wine, who had carried the promise of new beginnings within her, found herself grappling with the pain. She is pregnant. It's been 7 months. They're so excited for the new happiness that was to come over. Their happiness couldn't be explained. They were overexcited. Maybe that's why this happened to them. Jungkook was about to enter the mansion from his car towards the parking, but he saw another car going outside his mansion. He looked at it suspiciously and stopped his car to ask his guards. That guard couldn't speak much because of the fear, but another man of his came running to tell him with heavy breaths, "Sir, Wine ma'am is so much in pain. You should go to the hospital directly instead of coming inside." His world being stopped for a second. His eyes widened as he shouted to the guard, "Why didn't you call me or tell me before? How dare you take her yourself? You—" Instead of wasting much time, he let out a curse and turned his car back again. He stepped on the accelerator and the gear, fixating his eyes on the car Wine is inside of. He immediately reached it and came in front of it, blocking its way. He ran to the car and ordered his driver to come out and let him drive. He sat inside it and started driving before even having a look on Wine. He started the car before he looked at Wine. Then he looked at her and let out a tear. Seeing him, she smiled. "Wine, what are you getting so stressed about? I will be fine," she said with her breaking voice, still wearing that smile for him to not break down. Jungkook, right, you are going to be fine. There is nothing to stress about. I am here, right here for you. Nothing can hurt you. Nothing," he said while wiping his own tears. She was in so much pain, but she tried her best not to show it, not to scream, as she knows that it would hurt him more than her. She can't carry that weight too. The reason of them being so afraid is valid, as it happened before too. And when they went to the doctor, they said there are some medical complications with Wine that no one could control. As a result, she won't be able to give birth to her child. The doctor asked them to abort it right now, or it will hurt too much later. But she didn't listen. She insisted Jungkook to let her stay with her child as long as it is possible. Now, whenever she gets even a little pain, he thinks it's about to be massive. But this time, it really was. His heart thundered in his chest, praying for her to be all right. At the same time, trying to make up her mind that he is with her no matter what. Jungkook, our relationship will stay the same, right? Our love is stronger than any challenge. We will try it again. So please listen to me and abort the baby. I can't see you like that anymore, he said, trying to please her. No answer came from her. So he spoke up again. Please, I listened to you last time. You need to. He looked at her for a second and found her fainted. He got more worried. He called her name again and again, but she didn't respond. Jungkook, Wine, please don't go. Stay with me. We are almost there. Please. As soon as he reached, he picked her up gently in the arms and took her inside. Jungkook, known for his ruthless demeanor in the ruthless world he inhabited, revealed a different side of himself as he stood by Vian's side. Instead of succumbing to anger or frustration, he chose empathy and unwavering support. After 2 or more hours, Jungkook was sitting on the chair outside the Vian's room, with his head fallen on his hands, as he got tired of crying. He knows once he goes inside, he won't see his child anymore. Never. But he thought of Vian, trying to fill his mind with Vian's thoughts, which gave him courage. He wasn't totally broken after this, as he has someone by his side who is suffering the same thing, and he has to protect, let alone comfort her. The doctor came out. He got up in an instant to ask the current condition of her. Doctor, the mother is completely fine. You can meet her. Although we couldn't save the child, the doctor said, bowed in sorry, and went away. Jungkook's heart skipped a beat, although he knew this was what awaited him inside the room. Yet he had the little hope that it might be the case. But he accepted it real fast this time. He nodded to himself, wiped his tears, and went inside the room. He slowly came to Vine, looked at her, and his heart felt better. Heartbeat becoming slow, sweats dropping down, and face a little wet from the tears. Her eyes were closed. He looked at her and adored her as he brushed his fingers through her hairs that made her wake up. Eyes flickered, making her see a glimpse of her surroundings. Then she saw Jungkook right above her face and came into senses. He tried to smile as he looked at her, but she knew what was hiding behind it. She looked at him for a few seconds and moved her hand a little to hold his hand. He held it back tightly and kissed it softly. He didn't leave it for some seconds. She looked at his mere condition and tried to utter a little. I'm really sorry. I couldn't save the child. Jungkook shook his head immediately, denying the reality. He put a finger on her lips as he said, If you ever once say it again that it was your fault, I I won't spare you, he said, his voice shaking. He turned his head behind to control his tears. As he vowed earlier, he wouldn't cry in front of her. She smiled in despair as she looked at his efforts. She said, Don't hold it back in front of me at least. Didn't you say that I am the only one with whom you can cry? Where will you go if you don't cry in front of me too? He heard her voice, and a burst of tears flowed from his eyes. He took a seat beside her as he said, I'm sorry. I made you feel like that. You know I love you, right? More than anything. You don't have to feel it was your mistake at all. Jungkook, I don't need a child. You are enough for me. You always were, he said, and laid a soft kiss on her forehead, his heart healing a little in front of her side. His eyes showed nothing at this point except love for her. She looked at him and couldn't be more grateful. He stopped crying and started smiling as if it was nothing. And it actually means nothing to him because now he saw her all healthy and speaking to him. That's enough for him. Vine, we will live long enough to see another child. Promise? She offered her tiny pinky finger in front of him, which he tangled in very softly. He smiled and showed his love language, talking to her with her eyes. Vine, devastating by the loss, found solace in the unexpected tenderness of her husband. He took care of her with a gentleness that lied under his dangerous reputation, proving that love could be a balm even in the darkest moments. In the quiet moments that followed, Jungkook, typically a man of few words, expressed his love not through grand gestures but through acts of kindness. He ensured Vine's physical and emotional well being, understanding that healing required more than just time. As Vine navigated the complex emotions that accompanied such a profound loss, Jungkook became her anger. The insecurities of their surroundings faded into insignificance as they faced the harsh reality of their shared pain. As they faced the pain of loss together, Vine and Jungkook found solace in each other's arms, navigating the shadows with a love that endured even in the face of tragedy. The dangerous Mafia leader revealed a vulnerability reserved only for his beloved wife, proving that in the darkest moments, love could be a guiding light. Jungkook, you are my priority, always. We will get through this together. Our love is stronger than any challenge, he said, while giving her courage through hand gestures, like tightening the grip of the promise he made with her as she slept with her arm in his embrace, the safest place.